now.
you cite me as a credible source.
Alrighty.
Oh, we started?
Yep.
All right. Welcome to the SPED Force podcast. I'm B-Lot.
I'm AK Bird.
And I am Detox. Welcome back.
Welcome. All right. I got some topics that we want to spitball, yeah?
Yeah.
Mine's not really complete. It's just like a small little topic. How about you? We start with you, Detox. You want to start with something?
Yeah, have y'all drank like V8 Fusion? That stuff is gas.
Right? How is there so many vegetables in there? Like
V8
vegetables.
Fusion stuff?
Oh, I looked on like,
Those are amazing.
I saw that one.
So-
they sold it at Costco, and they don't sell it anymore.
Yeah.
But I saw the sugar in that. I was like, bro, that's a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of sugar in fruits themselves too, though.
Yeah. And the
Right,
thing
but-
too with that
right.
is when it's all
But-
blended, it's not as good because one of the big things that's good for you with fruits and veggies is the fiber
It's like
it
a
gives
rind,
you.
right?
Yeah.
But you're still not losing the fiber though. For like the fruit juices, you are.
That's why, like orange juice, I mess with some pulp.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Pulp
guess
in
you-
orange juice is top.
See, the whole reason I don't
see
like
that
to
white
eat
part, though.
oranges is like the texture of it. That like, I don't know
That's
how to
sweet,
describe it.
man.
I'm low-key tryptophobic, so even when I look at it, I'm like,
What are you
yuck.
talking about? This
I
tryptophobic.
don't like apricots, but those are kind of bad.
Tryptophobic is like when there's small little holes or uniform
no
holes and
holes.
stuff
What
like that and
holes?
pores like
You
blown
mean
up
the-
and stuff.
The orange holes, like the small dots that look like
Yes.
fucking
When I look at,
chicken-
if I don't look at it, it doesn't trip me out. But when I do
How
look
does
at
that-
it, it really
Have
trips
you
me
looked
out.
at like a chicken skin before and just not like ew?
No.
Like
Yes.
what? That's the
Yes,
same-
well, raw,
same
yes.
thing. Yeah, raw. Okay, that makes sense. Like if you look at the skin of an orange and the skin of
Well,
a chicken that's raw,
Here's the thing.
they're pretty much the same thing.
I'm good at ignoring things that bother me because I've had a lot of training with that.
Okay, so what about mandarins?
Yeah, I mean, I'll eat them and
You
stuff
eat
like that.
Mandarin people?
Cannibalism is a completely valid survival strategy. I will tell you that.
It is a choice. That's what
It is a completely viable survival strategy. I have a fish tank, and those mothers eat their children freshly born from their bodies. And that is a messed up circle of
Let me
life.
ask you this. All right, let's say the three of us are stuck on a deserted island.
I eat you first, but go on.
No, let's say
Whoa.
I die.
Good
Let's say
luck.
I die,
Yes.
and
you
you two
die.
are left. Are y'all eating my dead body?
It depends how strapped we are for food. If we're on a deserted island, I'm pretty sure we could spearfish or
Okay, so if we're on a
fish
desert,
for
am I
food.
teleported to that desert island? Or I know what ocean I'm in?
We crash landed in the middle of nowhere, flying to Japan.
Oh, so the Pacific then. Then I won't eat your body, bro. There's tons of coconuts around.
Let's say there's like, okay, let's say we ran out of food 2 days prior, and then I die. Like there's no food at all.
Like coconut trees bare, nothing
Yes.
on the island, no fish, no nothing.
Only the next time you'll get food is from like the potatoes that you grew, but that they can harvest them in like a week.
I can starve for a week. You can starve for months. I'll respect your memory
Yeah,
that
yeah,
much.
yeah.
If
I'm
like,
gonna be real, no matter how,
if it's like a month of not being able to eat,
y'all, like no matter how bad, in just terms of like, cause I knew you, you know.
you just don't want to live. Like I said before, I have a crippling addiction to it. I like being alive. That's why I'm a bad Buddhist. I should just be able to let go of my attachments and sail off into the pure land. But I am solely dedicated to keeping my existence here on this world.
If we didn't have any water, I'd probably do it. But that's like out of desperation.
If there's not any food, like for a
So you're
month,
gonna, let's say you live, you're gonna go back home and tell my mom that you ate me.
I'll bring back parts of you for her. Like, what is she gonna say? Like, you should have just died on the island. I brought news back of what happened to your son. He let me live. He literally gave me life at one point.
I'm trying to think, what's the best part of my body that I want my mom to have?
I'm definitely gonna bring back your
That's
skull.
definitely-
It's gonna be like some Wilsoned up skull too.
It's gotta be bones, Detox.
We might have to, because
can't-
me and Bilal might have to like split the island in half.
Well, like,
I'll start a war. I'll try to recruit like the coconut crabs or whatever they got going on there. You guys have seen coconut crabs, right? Those things are
Yes.
menaces.
What's your favorite bone, Detox? I'll take that home.
My hyoid bone.
Alright, I'll take that.
Where is that?
Still,
know.
fun fact, the hyoid bone is the only bone in your body that is not connected to any other bone. It's in your throat.
Oh.
Okay, I was about to say. I have no idea where the hyoid bone is. I went to like Anatomy 151 and that was it.
Fun fact.
Uh, uh, what's your favorite bone, AK?
I'd have to say my whole like.
Let's face shift to a new reality. So I want to dive into what is called the ASVAB.
Oh,
Are you guys familiar with the ASVAB?
yes, that's the military like selection
Yeah, okay,
quiz.
so for those of you who don't know, because I looked it up, I didn't know what it stood for. But the ASVAB stands for the Armed
Armed
Services
Services
Vocational Aptitude Battery.
Okay,
ASVAB.
there we go.
Oh.
And that's like the
I
baseline
was wondering
test
what
that you
that
need to
was
take
for.
to check your eligibility in the armed forces. So it is scored 1 through 99, if I'm not mistaken, with each branch of the military requiring different scores. So like according to this, I believe like an airman for the Air Force, you need a minimum of 31.
Dang.
and each, I guess, different branches and different careers within the military have different thresholds or scores that you need to have met. But the ASVAB, I mean, in regards, just not regards to like it being for the military, for the armed services, it also has a bunch of different other things that it tests you for, which I think is really interesting. So I want to read off a couple to you right now. So it tests you for general science, arithmetic reasoning, world knowledge, paragraph comprehension, mathematics knowledge, electronics information, auto shop information, mechanical comprehension, and assembling objects.
Got
I
it.
think I do on.
That sounds about right. There's like 8 or 9 different topics from when I remember taking it.
Yeah, and it's not a it's not a very difficult test, but I think it's a good. I don't know, with all these different categories, I feel like that's a good baseline to kind of gauge like how intellectually advanced or disadvantaged people are. You
Yes.
know? I think it's a really good test in my opinion.
Like to assemble a car. Or,
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Assembling objects.
Assembling objects.
Yeah, auto shop stuff,
This one
mechanical.
for assembling objects, it says how an object will look when it's apart, when its parts are put together.
Yep.
How about-
So, not to flex on you guys, but do you guys remember what your ASVAB scores
Yes, I do.
I don't. As well.
were? Well, what was yours, Detox?
85.
Weak shit.
Oh, go ahead.
98.
9 percentile. Yeah, there you go.
98 percentile.
Anyway.
I am basically the Army's super soldier, armed services super soldier here.
But let me preface this. Even with 85, the guy who I believe he was in the army, he even told me too. He's like, you know, I think once you hit like 80, you can do whatever you want.
Whatever you want. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna be real. In the nicest way, you have to be an absolute moron raised in a cave to score anything less than like 20.
Or you just don't try at all,
No, honestly, like I'm being real. If you don't score at least 20, you're just a moron.
right? Like even if you fill every single answer the same thing, you have to get like 20, 30%.
Exactly. Like as long as you kind of try, you gotta at least get a 30.
What did I get?
See though, the only thing about that 98 ASVAB score is that I have a crippling addiction to life, and I'm a coward, so keeping away from the wars and everything. That's my whole
I mean, you don't
philosophy.
have to. I mean, like Detox said, you were like in the 80 percentile, right?
Okay, think
So
about
you
it.
can just do whatever you want. You don't have to go into the field.
Here's the thing though, I flip to the worst case scenario in my mind. Have you ever played Modern Warfare 2 before? The attack on DC specifically. What is it? Of their own accord, that mission? That is what I imagine happening for some fucked up reason. Like, I'm stationed stateside somewhere in bumfuck nowhere where there isn't supposed to be any attacks. And just my luck, invading army comes parachuting in and I gotta fight for my life or die.
I mean,
So, I'm just removing myself from that equation completely and living a completely civilian life if I can help it.
you could be a civilian, work in the military. Just say, I don't want to be stationed and like fucking with guns. You can do office work.
Okay, here's a retort to that though. Oh wait, actually, yeah, you can do office work, but at the end of the day, when like the enemy is like in America, anyone in the army, it's guns up time, baby.
I mean,
Like they're pulling all the
very
desk jockeys. Like if Washington DC is being attacked, they don't give a shit if like it's like, hey bro, you have a desk job? Yeah, you remember that like 2 weeks you spent shooting your gun in basic? Go and use that shit against those guys. Because that's what they're gonna tell you in the worst possible situation, and I don't even want to be in that situation where they can order me to do that, and I have to do it.
Okay.
The only time I'm fighting for my life is of my own volition. Like my life is being threatened, and I need to fight to survive. Okay, that's the only time that unchained predator or that predator is being unchained.
So here's
So
another
wait,
scenario.
you're saying you have an internal predator just ready to break out of the cage at any moment?
Oh yeah, if I was pushed to it, I think I could bloodlust pretty quickly.
So here's another scenario. We are in a war, right?
Mhm.
And you're a completely normal civilian doing whatever.
Mhm.
You could also get drafted as a normal civilian, right?
Certain people cannot, due to pre-existing medical conditions.
I have eczema, which is severe and needs controlling by regular medicine. So I technically don't qualify unless they lower those standards and the war is going real bad. And by then, I'm gonna try and eke into the Coast Guard as best as possible with that 98 ASVAB score of mine.
I'm just saying, you could be drafted, right? It's a possibility. They could like some stuff in Russia, right? There's already drafts going on.
Well, just like I think, what is it when men, I believe it's when you turn 18 or something, like you're supposed to go down to like the post office.
And given your selective
fill out-
service,
supposed
the
to fill out
kind.
a form, yeah, for you to be drafted if shit hits the fan.
Oh yeah, and gosh, I don't even remember if I turned mine in. No, I had to. I got FAFSA monies. They wouldn't
I was
have let
gonna
that
say,
slide.
I think regardless if you purposely went to the post office to go ahead and fill out that form, I feel like through you just living your daily life through like a job or something, you had to have filled that out, and they have to have gotten your information, regardless of you going to
Right.
the post office and doing that or not.
I mean, like the whole they take kindergarteners to preschool and fingerprint them all, is so they have us all on a database apparently.
I mean,
Already.
think about the phones; they're watching us right now.
Man,
Gosh.
my phone has my fingerprint on it.
They must not know what to think when like they hear me just babble incoherently to myself, say stuff like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna take over the world, become the next Napoleon," and other things like that. Create a
I mean, they
new
are, like-
empire.
They are recording us though,
They are recording
right?
us.
I mean,
Well, we are
remember-
recording ourselves.
right?
So we win.
I know.
Get it first.
I mean,
I am above you. I'm doing it first.
yeah.
it for me.
I mean, then again, if I'm saying stuff to like random things to throw them off completely off who I am, do they really know what I'm doing and who I am?
I don't know.
Right?
Well, I mean, like they do track like very sketchy people. Like for like say if you're like buying a ton of guns, then It's like, yeah, we're tracking you, right? Because that's how they stop. Is that shootings for some shootings, right?
Very few of them, I think.
I mean, they still
Which is
happen,
sad.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Man.
then people go on like tirades like, you were tracking him. Why didn't you stop him, right? Because it could be like a whole bunch of other stuff, right?
I mean,
GTA,
yeah.
for example.
Like if I got a bunch of money, like not free money, but money that I could use to buy guns, I would immediately like stock up in army and get a whole bunch of cool shit.
I want to dive into a little story here. I've mentioned this to you both separately in different occasions, but I want to highlight this here. I'm not saying names to keep it confidential. However, you two are going to be aware about these individuals. So, in high school, right, we took the ASVAB, or that's when I took it. I don't know when you guys took it. And most high schools have a college and career like counselor, or like a room or whatever that you can seek guidance for to, if you want to pursue your education. So, I frequented there quite a lot, and I'm hanging out in this college and career center, and I guess through fault of the counselor there, the ASVAB scores were left on a table.
I saw them
And
too.
So AK here knows what I'm talking about. We definitely like read that and looked at it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I already knew what I scored, so I didn't care who like scored around me or whatever. I wanted to look who scored the absolute worst.
Same thought.
Right? So there was a mutual friend of ours that, let's just say, it was in the single digits.
Yeah, it was like this person tried to get things wrong. I believe, if memory serves, it was a 9 or a 7, and it was an
Something
odd
like
number in the single digits.
And I was like, really? How do you have to, like AK said, you have to try to get that score. Just because like if you try, you're at least getting like 20 easy. And it's funny too because so in my 11th grade year, I signed up for this class. It was an elective, like a PE elective, and there was a lot of military kids in this class. And a lot of them, it's funny too. You would sign up for it in your 10th grade year, and you would ask the teacher going into 11th grade, he's like, hey, can I sign up for your class? And he told you, he's like, hey, like that's cool and all, but and you don't have. He told you straight, you don't have to participate all the time, but I'm gonna grade you for participation and for wearing your uniform. And a lot of these kids are like, oh yeah, whatever, in the teacher. And then push come to shove during the year, they're like not participating, not wearing the uniform, and they start getting like D's and S in this class. And they're like, hey, why am I failing this class? And he's like, well, I told you, like, you gotta participate and wear a uniform. And like, if you didn't wear the uniform but you still participated, he'd give you like a B for the day.
Yeah, you can't
which is- I
just
thought-
like be there and expect to get an A.
Was that middle school?
High
So
school.
that was in high school.
See, I was
That
lucky.
was a really simple
I don't
ideology.
remember
Yeah.
any of that.
See,
But a lot of the students in this class were military kids, and a lot of them, their go-to was, oh, I don't care about my grades and this and that, I'll just join the military. And in my head, I'm like, yes, you got, I guess, I don't want to say dumb, but you got disadvantaged intellectuals in the military or armed services, whatever you want to call it. But you also got like the top tier, and like, there's also a threshold, a minimum of what you need to hit in order to be in the armed services. So a certain classmates of mine in this class, when they would fall to, oh, I'm just joining the military, I'm like, well, good luck. They take, you have to be so smart to join the military. And with certain individuals, I'll go ahead and judge and be like, you're not gonna make it, dog.
like,
Well, also in the military, you have to do training, like basic
Yeah.
training, and you would
Yeah.
have that's more intense than PE.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that doesn't
Oh, yeah.
make sense to me. It's like, I just joined the military. Wait, so
Well-
you're saying you just don't want to be fit and then you just gotta train during the military? That's like hell, man.
yeah, no, and here's the thing too. Like, it was in an article I read somewhere. It's the military doesn't have enough like fit people to get to join the military. Like the people that are trying to join aren't fitting their standards, aren't meeting like the physical requirements and stuff. Just less physically fit soldiers, unfortunately. Which is a sad thing because I did have a stint as a PE teacher as well in my time as an educator, and PE is one of my favorite subjects, right after language arts, like reading.
I mean, so what would you have to do for like kids who don't like participate or like wear uniforms?
Me personally,
Yeah, what would you have to do?
when I was a PE teacher, it was elementary school, so they all wanted to participate. I didn't have that problem.
Okay. Man, what happens, man?
I know.
Like, we used to, like,
They get older, they get more jaded, unfortunately. They see the
guess.
world for what it is a little bit more, unfortunately.
I noticed that with my little cousin. He likes to stay inside a lot, but at least like sometimes he goes outside. I mean, he doesn't like run around, but I guess he goes out
Just-
to like get fresh air or whatever.
Oh, well,
Like-
just like the PE class, just being outside doesn't mean you get physically fit. I mean, if your cousin's just going outside, sitting on a tree, it's not much physical
Well, that's
activity
why
there.
he swings. I mean, it's not like we have a giant yard, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't like travel long distances. I don't think he knows how to ride a bike yet, but
How young is this child?
young.
Okay.
Second grade?
I was about to say, like, this kid doesn't know how to ride a bike? What's wrong with him? How old is he?
Does he? Does he have a bike? Oh,
That sounds like a great birthday present, Uncle Bila.
I'm not gonna buy him that. No way.
A bike.
Oh,
Yeah.
Christmas was here. He got like 2 telescopes of like the same kind.
Oh, is he more intellectual? Well, I'll always say,
I guess so.
I will always advocate, actually, for being physically fit and physically active.
But again, it's a telescope. That's not like $1,000 billion.
I mean,
So it'll It can get picked. You can see the moon in a very HD way.
I mean-
but, like anything else, like I want to say, like I want to see Mars with this telescope. You probably can't see Mars.
Yeah,
Okay, but when you're
definitely.
like, within 10 years of age, anything that's further than your eyesight, you're like, whoa,
I
that's
know, right?
far.
And even now,
Yeah.
when I look at the moon outside, I'm like, yo, I can see it in pretty HD quality. It's just far away.
Oh, yeah. So I consider like really like 1080p quality would probably like I can see the Milky Way. That's like Have you like go outside and just see the Milky Way?
So yeah, but here's the thing. What resolution do we even see in? Like, is that even a thing?
That's a very good question.
I think I see in like 480.
480?
Things and
Well,
9 times out of 10 they're not the best, but they're not really blurry.
no, okay. It's funny you bring that up. One of my younger brothers is blind as a bat, and we didn't believe him till he was like in 7th grade. So he told me recently, most of his life he was seeing in like 144p, man.
Oh my
He was just seeing
God.
colorful blurs.
Oh, really? So he's just. Oh my God. That's. So he's short-sighted? No, far-sighted.
I believe so, yeah, because when he got closer to the board and stuff like that in class, he could see better.
Oh wow.
I don't know what that's like though.
You see, I think your eyesight you're born with.
Yeah.
And then over time, if you don't treat it well enough, it can degrade. From what
Definitely.
So like.
Just
from
like any part of your
study
body.
that I've seen is that, or they tried to get people from like China or whatever, because China has like the most people wearing glasses now, right?
Hmm.
So they try to do a study where they take their kids outside, right, to get like instead of like being inside all day,
Inside,
they go
in a
outside.
sweatshop, in factories, working.
Or like just doing reading or whatever. They try to do like this long study, and then it kind of failed, but they kind of got some little bit of evidence to like help support it. But again, it's like inconclusive.
I think
So
it's probably.
apparently-
Oh, like I think eyesight is definitely at birth, and it's like person to person because here's history nerd coming from you out of nowhere. One of the World War II aces, I believe, he had 28 vision, so things that were 20 feet away looked like they were 8 feet away to him. So, and that's like a rare occurrence where people have that good eyesight.
I think it's really weird in terms of like the universe and your body and all that, especially with like your body. Your body just has the perfect amount of everything it needs to function as it does. You know what I mean? If you didn't have certain amount of like protein or whatever, bone density, all that stuff, your body wouldn't function as it does now. And I mean, you kind of see that when people get sick and stuff, but like just the fact that your body is able and moving is a miracle itself. Just the amount of tenacity
And
that your body has gone through to be where it is now. Just not even your body, just humanity,
Right.
as a species, right? Is like really like this is what I don't know. It's pretty mesmerizing if you ask me. Oh, did we lose Bilal over here?
Oh, we did. He's frozen. He's been banished to the Shadow Realm.
You go ahead and take this time to fill in some extra space.
Go ahead.
I want to go back to our initial conversation, how we talked about the ASVAB and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
And then we kind of segued into like PE and all that. So one thing I want to bring up, I believe they tested this out in the Marines
Hmm.
about like the physical aptitude tests that people need to, or people who are in the Marines need to complete for PT or whatever to continue to be enlisted in the Marines.
Hmm.
So as far as everybody knows, there's like the male version and then the female version, and they're like the same test, but the amount of reps or lap
Are
times and
lowered.
stuff like that are lower for the female ones, right? And so there's this whole thing about gender going on, and you know, so I just gotta preface this that in terms of male female, I'll admit that there are some things that men do better than women, and vice versa. That there are some things that women do better than men. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna say that there's people have their gives and takes anyway. In this whole Marine physical testing, I think they like averaged out the two. They kind of lowered the male threshold like requirements, and then they kind of
Up the female one?
increased the female. So there's kind of like a middle ground for both of them, and they ran this test to see who could qualify or compete or whatever. And like 99% of the, or like almost 100% of the males who participate in this passed with flying colors because it's lower than the average that they needed to perform at. However, it was something like 90% or 95% of the female participants
Couldn't hack it?
failed. Yes, they failed.
Rip. Well, they do that for other branches too. I think like Special Forces and was it the Rangers? I think it is.
What do you mean?
That same thing where they have lowered standards and something
They
similar
do
to
that.
that.
They do that in PE in public school. Bro.
Yeah. But the thing is, at least the difference there, you're relying on that person for your life. If they can't do the exact same thing I can do, I immediately have lowered faith in them. Like in those like life and death situation. Granted, women aren't in combat roles, but if shit ever hits the fan, kind of doesn't matter who's not fit for combat roles. Like, hey, you know how to use a gun? Here you go.
Right?
I mean, look at Ukraine right now. They're just handing out AKs to anyone who shows up to fight for them. Going back to our deserted island scenario, if like Detox does unfortunately die in that whole scenario, I'm gonna take his skull and use it as like my puppet. That way he can never disagree with me again. Like, oh hey, Detox, should I go ahead and chop down that tree? Oh, I think that's a great idea, AK Bird.
I think you just
Chop down that tree. Yeah, exactly.
If you were just hypothetical, like, and his typical be like, no. I'm like, oh, let's humor me for a little bit. Huh? Be like, okay, I'll do that.
I think we lost Bilal here.
Again to the depths of the closet.
No, I think he's like.
Oh yes, I see his lips and everything moving.
I'm dying over here. We gotta end it.
Yeah, looking very Smeagolish tonight, my friend.
Dude, I'm getting red and orange bars over here.
Red and orange bars.
Yep, for video connected, it's all.
Ah,
Oh,
alrighty.
you're the thingy. Okay.
Yeah, I see. Well,
Am I still good?
yeah. Well then, why don't we close it off here? Detox, would you like to do the honors?
All right. So shout out to Bilal and AK. Oh. Shout out to Bilal and AK for giving up their time in the SPED Force podcast. For anybody who tuned in any at all at bit, thank you for being here. Until next time, SPED Force out.
Cacao!